Good man,
Good.
good. We're both in the mud, innit? But it's what it is. It's what it
Yeah,
is.
man.
Different mud, but we're
Yeah.
different types of mud. But yeah, I could say we're both in muds. That's for sure.
Yeah. I quite like mud.
Are you all right, bro?
No.
It sounds like he's suffocating. I'll be honest.
Hello, man. What's going on there? You all
Yeah, I
right?
can't really breathe. I can't really breathe. But now, listen, we are in the mud. Loads to talk about today. A bit of transfer news as well, as that's picking up because the window's only a week away from opening. Of course, we're looking ahead of the Boxing Day fixtures as well. But I did want to start with Man United, Staffy, because it was an horrendous weekend for us. It now turns out we've got a rat or a mice infestation. The media are coming for us left, right, and centre. How are you feeling about it all right now as a United fan?
About the club or about the loss? Because they're two different things, honestly.
Start with the loss. Start with the loss.
Yeah, listen, it's never good to lose a game of football, no matter where you are. If you're already in the mud, or even if you're in good form and you still lose a game, it's never a good feeling. But I can't lie and pretend that it wasn't really expected. I mean, we sat here on Friday straight facts, and I didn't even predict a win. I said we'll probably draw. And speaking to a lot of United fans, a lot of us were saying maybe we'll draw, maybe we'll drop points. So that just kind of shows you that we didn't really predict the best of games. Now, obviously, when you look at the game, there is a situation where I'm like, well, if we were a little bit better going up front, we wouldn't have lost that game because we did create four big chances. We did miss a lot of chances before we conceded these goals. You know, so it's kind of on the players. But I believe I tweeted that right out during the game or right after the game, something like that. I said basically it's the same thing that I've seen already a few times. It's one of those games where I felt like we should have done better, but we were let down because of individual quality again. Um, and we all saw it. We saw Bruno miss the chances. We saw the poor defending from Mazraoui on that penalty. We saw the poor defending from what's his name, Lissandro again. Bruno giving up the ball in a couple of these goals that led to eventually these events happening. You know, so it's the same thing on a different day. You know, am I overreacting like everyone else though? Nope, I'm not. I'm not. I'll tell you what. It's been snowing here in Jersey in about 4 days. So when Amarim said get ready for the storm, I got ready for the storm. I have my cup of tea ready. I'm staying warm. I got my soup in the fridge. I have everything ready for a storm. So when he was saying get ready for the storm, it has to get worse before it gets better. He wasn't joking. You know, I'm seeing a lot of people losing it, saying change this formation, switch it back to a back four, as if it was working when we had a back four to begin with, anyways. You know, so I'm seeing a lot of people lose their heads, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Yeah.
You guys need to be ready the United fans. You need to get ready to be in the trenches for a little bit. If you thought the last 10 years was trenches, these are real trenches. I'm talking about Arsenal first two seasons under Arteta type of trenches. Like these are real trenches that we're about to be into. And I don't
Yeah.
think it's for the weak. If you have a weak heart, I have bad news for you. Maybe don't turn on the TV for the next couple of years. It's gonna be difficult for you.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I big up Hussam as well. Nah, big up. The thing is, yeah, I've been saying this for a long time. These United players are trash, in it. Yeah, and whilst obviously Ten Hag made it worse because he's a really, really bad manager. Like, there's only so much Amarim's going to be able to do here, guys. Yeah, there's only so much Amarim's going to be able to do. So, listen, Amarim might make mistakes. He might make, positive strides. But until United have a clear out, of those players, they're going to be a mid-table team. I mean, that's just the truth and the facts of the matter. You don't have to get emotional about it. You don't have to get all like upset about it. That's just the truth. A lot of these players are unreliable in terms of injuries. Get rid. And by the way, I've got the same thing at my club. We'll come on to City later. I've got the same thing at my club. Unreliable. Get rid of them. Yeah, because what we're doing is, we're moving into an age where there's more and more games, more and more competitions. You need players that are reliable. So maybe like 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever, or maybe a decade ago, where you could kind of get away with a couple of these players. You can't get away with these players anymore. Get rid of them. Promising players, if they're not showing promise by the age of 23, 24, 25, get rid of them. You're not a nursery. You're not here to hold these players' hands forever. At some point, the players have to deliver and repay the sort of investment that you put in the player. So for me, at United, if they don't get a lot of these players, you're just going to get the same thing. And eventually, people start turning on the manager because that's how it goes. So, Amorim, I like what he's doing. I like the way he's handling the Rashford thing. He's making it clear you're gone. And I think he needs to do that with a lot more players. But obviously, he can only tackle a certain amount. We are still in the middle of the season. There's only so many players he can get rid of in January. So, let's see how he gets on, man. But I think it's the right approach.
Can I ask you a question, LB, about the Rashford situation? A lot of the media here in England are starting to push this narrative that the only reason Ineos are looking to get rid of him is because he's on big money. It's not about they're forcing him out, they're being nasty to him. It's nothing to do with his performances. It's purely to save money. Do you think there's an element of truth to that? Or do you think that's gaslighting United fans when you look at the last 18 months of performances of a player like Marcus Rashford?
Well, you could rephrase the question and say, would United want to be getting rid of him if he was on 150 grand a week? Maybe, but they probably wouldn't be in such a rush. So there probably is an element of truth. How much is he on? 350?
350, yeah.
So when you're on £350,000 a week, there is an expectation, and this is a really fair expectation, that you ought to be delivering pretty much world-class performances on a regular basis. And that's not controversial. He's on 350 grand a week. So I think there probably is an element of truth in that sense, we're paying you 350k a week. We're paying you money which goes to world-class players, and you're not giving us world-class performances. If he was on 150k a week, would they be so obsessed about getting rid of him? Maybe, but they'd probably be less stressed about it because he's on 150k a week.
Of course. And this is what I've noticed in the last couple of days. And I know it's Christmas Eve. For some people, it's a time of hope and happiness, and it is for me, but I can't today. The lies I'm seeing in the media today are driving me insane. And I hope that every media outlet pushing this bullshit gets banned from Man United by the club. And also any fan who opens the door to the wolf, lets the fox in the chicken coop. I hope they're ostracized as well. And I want to give you guys an example. The way people are siding with the media over this is crazy. There's articles today that say, let's take a look at the first year of Ineos at Man United. The agreement was a year ago. They didn't get in until 21st of Feb. They spent 3 months doing a thematic review before they brought anybody into the club and made any changes, which is normal. So they've had 6 months of actions. They've made mistakes, and I will not deny those mistakes. But this idea that they've been here a year makes it sound like they had 2 transfer windows when they've had 1. Disingenuous as fuck. They keep pushing the lies that they want the taxpayer to pay for the new stadium. It isn't true. There's some massive own goals. I wouldn't have taken away the bonuses, the £100 bonuses for the £40 vouchers. Wouldn't have done that. The mice infestation, before any of you boys bring it up, I'm going to bring the rats up, right? I'm going to bring it up. It's embarrassing. No one's going to deny it isn't embarrassing. But let's be frank. Let's be frank. This is why I don't side with the media. How horrendous is that? On a scale of 1 to 10, that Man United Stadium doesn't just have mice, it's in the food areas. 10. Cool. So when Ineos sack the person in charge of that tomorrow, the media will then go, oh, they've sacked somebody from their job. How bad and horrible were Ineos? This is the problem. They want the media push for United to be ruthless. You've got to be the best of the best. You've got to have the highest standards. We sack people for having low standards. You scumbags. I'm not having it. There are certain decisions we've made I don't agree with. Getting rid of a £250,000 Christmas party. What part of our football club deserves £250,000 on a Christmas party? Not the footballers. No one. The whole club is. If we've got rats in the food, if the stadium leaks, how the fuck does anyone deserve anything at the club? No one does. I'd rather the money be spent getting rid of rats, right? But I am sick to my back teeth of everything they do being twisted. And I want to throw this out there as well. I wanted the Qatari owners. So please do not twist what I'm about to say as a negative towards Qatar, because I've got no problem with the people that wanted to buy the club or the nation at large. Spent time there, loved it, okay? If they were here, they wouldn't be spending much more money because clubs are restrained by PSR. This idea that have come in, yeah, they can write the debts off of their own money, but all that gets offset because they've invested it against your PSR. We'd be in the same position whether the debts were gone or not, okay? But let's say they did write the debts off. Let's say they did do the Christmas party. In fact, fuck that. Let's say they spent $500,000 on the Christmas party. Do you know what these same, everyone going, yeah, Ineos are bad. Do you know what the same media would be saying that you're siding with? They'd say, how dare those workers do that? How dare you spend that money that's created from oil which is ruining this planet? How dare you spend that money from a country that does X to women, does Y to homosexuality, harbors this person, has this political view? They'd be doing the same thing, but in a different direction. And LB knows this because of who his owners are. Newcastle fans know this because of who owns their football club. This is why I'm absolutely fuming with Man United fans. I get you didn't want them, okay, and have your gripes, but don't side with the blood-sucking media that would be attacking us no matter who our owner is. And by the way, once we start getting things working well, which I believe will happen, they'll then attack us for something else. They're not on your side. Do you want to know why? I've run this through two different systems, and I'm trying to get the exact answers. There's been almost 6 times as many articles in a year written about Ineos at United than was ever produced about the Glazers in 20. Where are all these these people with moral high standards for 20 years when our club was being pillaged? Listen, I'm criticizing those players. They deserve it. I want a squad overhaul. I'm embarrassed that we've got mice in the stadium, but I am not siding with the blood-sucking leeches, which are the media, that no matter who our owners are, no matter how good or bad we're doing, they're always going to look for the negative. So Man United fans on that front, please do better. They're gaslighting you every single step of the way. They truly are. Trying to make us believe that Rashford's only being sold to save money. No, he ain't. They're trying to sell him to take the 350 grand a week wages to give it to a player that might deliver for us to make the team better. They did this to Arsenal. Arsenal lowered their wage bill in the first couple of years under Arteta and co. It's now £60 million higher than when he arrived. Chelsea dropped their wage salary massively because they had players like Lukaku that were eating it up. Now it's slowly on the rise again. Man United are not selling players like Rashford so that Ineos can keep that salary each week for themselves. They're doing it so they can reinvest it into better players, but it's going to take time. Have some goddamn patience. Call out the problems, but please, I beg. Final thing I'm saying on it. Please don't side with the mainstream media. Newspapers like the fucking Sun. Come on. Do better. Do better.